Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm Olta, Orientation and Admission Specialist at Talent Garden Innovation School. I have here with me today Alberto, who will be our guest speaker. He will share with you his experience in design. I will just shortly talk about Talent Garden and what we are about, so you'll get to know us a little bit. We started as a small co-working space in Italy, and now we have 21 campuses all over Europe. We also have trainings always related to digital and tech areas. We cover topics in data, design, marketing, digital transformation as well. And also Alberto here, he is also one of our teachers in UX design fundamentals. He will start soon his presentation. I don't know, Alberto, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just start with your presentation, and I believe we will have at the end a Q&A. If people have questions, I have a couple of questions for you that I'm reserving till the end. And if you guys are interested in knowing more about Talent Garden, of course, you can check our website. And Alberto, this scene is all yours.
Thank you very much, Alta.
Screen.
Yeah. So, hello everybody. As Alta said, I'm a teacher also in the fundamental course. I teach mostly the digital prototyping part. I'm not gonna have slides about me, but because I don't like self-promotion in these cases, I'm just a lead interaction designer at Sketchin. It's a design studio based in Switzerland. And if you want to check it out more, just go on the website and take a look on the internet, and you will find some stuff. Today, as Alta said, I want to share with you how I managed to take my design background and do something for good. So do something during the lockdown, during the COVID lockdown that we had here in Italy. And I will share with you how the things that I know that I do every day help me doing this from a design point of view. So basically, I'm a designer in love with cross-functional teams because as a designer, you can have as many background as you want. The three main background that I'm gonna share with you in this presentation are my background in interaction design, my background in everything that it's about agile methods, so how to work with other people, processes, and also how to basically define a project and bring a project into every state of it till the end. And the third background is my background with DevOps. So basically, I spent many years of my design career working with developers and also other technicians that usually bring live what you design. And so this is also in my this will be also in this presentation, because I will guide you through different phases of this project. So the first one is understanding the context. This is something that as a designer should be the base for everything that we do as a designer, always understanding the context and where we're gonna work and who we're gonna work with. Then intercepting a need, because as a designer, we always start from a need. I mean, we never design something from scratch, so something that doesn't exist, no? We can design something if there is a need from the user. Otherwise, designing something that solves a need that doesn't exist, it's impossible. Then I will show you how I tested the idea, because you always have to test the idea to prove that that your assumption and what you thought is right. This is a motto from developers. So you build it, you run it. It means that if you design something, you should also be the one that run this stuff, that actually makes this stuff working. And in this project, it's one of the first time as a designer that I actually did it, because a designer, we usually stop at one point and we let other people run it for us, and then scaling it, because once you design a service that you see that it's working, you always have to think about how to scale it, because you want to bring it from a local perspective to maybe nationwide or worldwide. So the first step in this process is understanding the context. I'm gonna talk about a specific project that I did during COVID in my city, that it's Milan. So basically, having the knowledge of where we are working, it's vital. It's the first thing that you have to need to know. And just to remind you, the time when I did this was this time. So it was April 2020, and in Italy we had almost 1,000 deaths per day by COVID. And these are some of the data. This actually it's a website that a colleague of mine did. That's the link, and that basically merge all the data into one single website in which you can take a look at what was the situation in Italy. But the situation was pretty bad. We were in lockdown. Was the first lockdown for Italy. So basically, we could not actually go out of our apartment. We cannot walk down the street, and the news was only about how many people were dying during that time. And the second context that we have to talk about is about the area, the geographic area, because I did this project in a specific area of Milan. It's called Nolo, that stands for North of Loreto, that it's basically northwest part of Milan. And it's a pretty, let's say, weird place, because 28% of the residents in this area are immigrants. I would say that the regular people registered are 28, but if we have to talk in real numbers, probably it's half of the people are not Italian actually in this area. And as you can see, Nolo, it's my neighborhood. It's definitely in the middle of this place. It's close to the Milan Central Station. And it's a place in which the one-person family rate, so families that are composed just by one person, is 64.4%. So more than half of the people, actually 2 out of 3 families in this area are just one single person. It's one of the area in Milan that has the most inhabitants. So Nolo has 44k inhabitants, and it's close to another area, the really dark blue one, that has 65k. So basically, in really, I would say 2 kilometers, there are 100k people living there. And it's one of the most appealing area, because the ratio between people that are moving people that are moving out, it's 46%. So basically, it's a place to be in Milan. So just to do a small recap, we have a lot of immigrants, really dense population area, and more than half of the people are living alone. On top of this is the place to be. If we have to summarize all these different traits, we get to this. It's the place for middle-income millennials. So basically me, people around 30, 35 years old that have a good income and a good job actually, and a lot of people that actually are not Italian, and they struggle to get till the end of the month. So they struggle to have food actually. This means a lot of gentrification. Gentrification is the social explanation of let's say old people living in an area that are moving out because new people with more money are coming to that area. So rents are getting higher, prices are higher, and the old people living there that usually are not so well educated and not with a really cool job with a lot of money, they have to move out. Usually this phenomenon just push the people out of the city. But we just talk about poverty, but actually when we talk about poverty, we always talk about this. We always talk about the economic poverty, but actually that's not the only poverty that exists. Actually, it's, I would say, one of the three poverty that exists. So basically, you can be poor, you can have a cultural poverty. So basically, you can, it's when you are just somebody that didn't study, you don't know many things, you don't have a specific job because you're not specialized. And then we have the relational poverty. So basically, you have nobody to rely on. But what happens if we take these three poverties and we just combine them together? It happens that you can be economic poverty and cultural poverty. Actually, this is one of the most common kind of poverty. So basically, it's when you're not well educated and you don't have money, but on the other side, you have a family of friends that can support you. This is I would say that it's one of the most common one. You can have cultural poverty and relational poverty. This is the most unrealistic one because it's not really happening that you are not well educated, you are alone, but you have a lot of money. That's really a rare case. Or you can be alone and poor because you have economic and relational poverty, but you can be well educated. This can happen, but it's not so common. Actually, the most common one is the one in which you combine everything. So basically, in this part, if you lose your job, you have no option because you have no money. You are not specialized in anything. You didn't study, so you cannot just put yourself into another job, and you have nobody to rely on. That's the most common case of poverty that we can have. But say that we can switch to when I started to intercept in need, and everything started with a Facebook post. Basically, if you're listening to this, actually at the beginning I just wrote, "I am the lucky one." But then I thought, okay, if you're listening to this speech, actually you are also the lucky one. So during the first lockdown, the COVID, I had a lot of friends that they lost job. They were daily losing job. I'm lucky enough to be a designer for a big studio that during the COVID didn't fire anybody. So we all kept our job. We continued to work, and I was so lucky that actually I did a Facebook post into the Facebook group of NALO of my neighborhood. It's a group with 15K people asking for, hey, I'm lucky, but I want to help somebody else. So I want to just bring a grocery shopping to somebody that cannot afford that, cannot do that. If you are struggling to get food, just write me and I will do one grocery shopping for you. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. So nobody answered asking for help. And I said, nobody, not even one single person out of 15,000 people. Nobody asked for help. But on the other side, I got 15, 20 people commenting the post and offering themselves to do the same. So I said, oh, that's a good idea. I want to do the same. I got people messaging me that, hey, I want to give you some money to pay for the grocery shopping for other people. And actually, I answered them saying, hey, the idea was the opposite. I was giving money to other people, not just taking money. And then there were a lot of people praising for the idea, like, okay, that's a good idea. You're a good guy. That's super nice doing that. So then after this happened, I, as a designer, I tried to analyze and understand why it didn't work out. And what I came with was, first of all, people are ashamed to asking for help in public. So just writing in that post, hey, I need help because I cannot buy food. That's really difficult to say in a Facebook post. And second option is that I was writing in a closed group that is not really representing the real population. You remember the real population was half of the people not Italian, many of them really poor. So in that close group, we are mainly Italian. I would say 99% are white Italian people, and that definitely not representing the real population of that area. So this was before a weekend. So I spent the weekend thinking, okay, but I mean, what I understood here, it's really strong. So I have some insight that are really something that I can rely on. So many people are losing job and they can't buy food at supermarket. I mean, that's a fact. We know, because during the lockdown, everywhere this happened. I have many people that wants to bring a grocery shopping to somebody else, because I have people saying, I want to do the same. And I have a lot of people that they actually don't want to bring the grocery shopping to somebody else, because you remember it was lockdown. So actually you could not really go out, and the fear of coronavirus was really strong. So not like this, like now, that actually we know that there is, but we are not so scared like 1 year and a half before. So I have a lot of people that actually they just want to donate money. So what I did during that weekend was to, as a designer, was to design a service that could solve all these insights. And I thought about the service with 4 players. Actually, the first player was me, because actually I was involved in this one. So I thought, okay, I have to do something, and I need to be part of this service. Then I have another player that is the donator. So what I call the donator. So who wants to bring the grocery shopping to somebody else? Then I have the receiver. So who needs the grocery shopping? So who needs food? Who is in need for help? And then I have the fourth and last player is the contributor. So who just want to contribute to a grocery shopping? So who just want to give money? So the idea was, okay, I can match the donator and the receiver, geolocalizing them, because was lockdown. You could not just go outside your house only for buying food. So I had to match people that were living close one to another, and then I can match contributor with donator based on the money they want to spend. So if the donator want to bring a grocery shopping, but he can just put 20 euro, I can match him with some contributor that doesn't want to bring any grocery shopping to anybody, but maybe want to give 50 euros. So maybe the donator can do a grocery shopping to the receiver that it's 70 euro this time, so a little bit more. Then my job was only to text the donator and give them the contacts of the contributor and the receiver, and let the donator just call the contributor asking for the money that the contributor want to give. And on the other side, text or call the receiver saying, hey, I want to bring you a grocery shopping because I know that you are in need. Because the focus of the service actually was one kind of poverty. But if you remember the 3 kind of poverty that we had, the focus on this service was not actually the first one. So it was not the economic poverty, because yeah, having a grocery shopping made by somebody else can help you, of course, but it's not gonna save you from poverty. It's not gonna fix your problem permanently. But the focus of this project actually was the relational poverty, because the idea was, okay, I'm not gonna fix the problem of buying food of anybody, but if I make it to create new connections, actually I can at least fix one problem. So these people, maybe they won't be alone anymore, but they will be with somebody else. And I want to create relationship over prosperity. This is a screenshot that I did of my WhatsApp chat, in which this girl Isabella, she was one of the contributor bringing the grocery shopping to somebody else. Actually, they sent me back. She sent me back this picture of the family she brought grocery shopping to, with a little girl happy because she had something, and also where the image that you can see at the bottom are some little present that they gave her. And actually they gave her one mask. Actually is an FFP3, and if you remember, during that time this kind of mask was impossible to find anywhere, but they had some, And so they gave one to this girl that brought her a grocery. So basically the idea was, okay, let's create some connection instead of fixing the poverty problem. And how to do that? I mean, as a good designer, as every designer knows, I use Google, because I mean, Google form is usually the answer and the place to go if you want to test an idea. So basically, I just created a simple Google form in which I show the different options. So I want to bring a grocery shopping, I just want to give money, or I need help, I need food. And I just published out there on internet, on Facebook, on the Facebook group, and just waiting if somebody else was answering. And actually, it was a blast, because in few days I got hundreds of answers. Actually, at some point I also had to take it down, because in one afternoon I had 400 people that signed in. And I mean, there is no startup behind, nobody doing that. I mean, it was just me and a friend of mine that also live in the area. So it was impossible to actually manage all these people. So it really worked out. And then we come to the point in which, okay, you design something, and many times as a designer, you stop here. So you prove the idea, you design a service, and then you give it to a client and say, hey, looks like it's working now, it's your turn to do it. But actually, in this case, there was no client, because it was a side project for me. So it was not my daily job. So I had to bring the first grocery shopping. So I rent a car, I went to the supermarket, and I picked the first girl that signed up. Actually was a single mom with a 7-year-old girl, and I do the grocery shopping for them. I brought her. I just want to share with you something about that, because in that moment I understood the power of this service, because many people that struggle to buy food, they rely on association, NGOs, and stuff like that. But the food they get from there are value for money food. So basically, they try to give as much food as they can with less money as possible. So usually they give flour, sugar, tomato paste, and oil, stuff like that. So rice, but it's missing the human touch. But when I went to do this grocery shopping, actually, as you can see inside the shops, I bought ice cream, I bought chips, and actually it was Easter time, so I also bought an Easter egg, because chocolate Easter egg, because I know that there was this little girl, and they answered me back, because this Easter egg was the first one of her life. So she sent me back a vocal message on WhatsApp saying, "Thank you 1 million times," because that was her first one. And then I understood something else. I understood that starvation doesn't wait, because this is the Excel file. This is not a loop. I'm really scrolling inside this. So there was thousands of lines of the Excel file. Of every line is somebody that is needing food or want to bring something. And when you do this kind of stuff, you understand that every moment that you postpone doing this stuff, doing this service, actually is postponing the dinner of somebody, is postponing the lunch of somebody else. So this really brings you closer to the service that you design than when you just design it at the high level. And basically, after less than 2 weeks, I had 20k euro promised by people. I say promised by people because actually I was not managing those money, because I was just saying, okay, you are matched with this other person, you just bring it the grocery. So I was not managing the money. Everyone was doing that. I had more than 100 people that wanted to bring a grocery shopping to somebody else. I had almost 300 people that just wanted to give money, and I had more than 300 that wanted the grocery shopping after like 10 days. Just to give you a glimpse of knowledge about this, 20k euro are more than the yearly budget of an average third sector association. So we're talking about the budget that many associations they have for doing this kind of stuff for 1 year long. But I have a problem. I mean, as you can see, I had a lot of people, 280, that just wanted to give money, and most of them wanted to give like a lot of money, like 300, 400 euro, stuff like that. So I had a lot of money and less people to just bring grocery shopping. So I had the problem. I couldn't spend all the money that I raised. So at some point, I thought, okay, I need more help. And actually, before doing this project, I contacted few association in the third sector. So is basically it's how you call all the area where are like association companies, NGOs that they just do social impact thing. But nobody answered me to give me a little bit more of insight or help. But actually, when this stuff went so big, because actually all the news was talking about this, everybody started to call me back. All the associations started to call me back and try to actually get into the service. So I contacted some of them, and say, hey, I have a lot of money. Do you want it that I buy some food for you? Actually, I didn't want just to give the money to them, because I launched the service with the promise: every euro that you want to give, we will spend for people locally without intermediate people, middlemen. So actually, I contacted this association and I told them, okay, if you need it, we can go together and we can just buy some food. I can just collect the money and I can buy some food. And this association, this Lambretta is an occupied community center. They were actually the fastest one and the smartest one to answer me. Actually, this is a picture in which they came to the supermarket with this truck, actually, and we filled it with pasta and everything we could buy. Actually, I spent with them 1,100 euro, 11,000 euro at the supermarket that is just close to my place. I became super friend with the director of the supermarket. He was so happy when actually we went there. And if you remember that time, there was also you had to queue outside, and I have to praise them, because actually the director gave me his number, and I was texting him in advance before going, okay, we need like, I don't know, 300 kilos of pasta. And it was like preparing everything. And it was also giving us more thing. And at that time, basically, you couldn't buy more than 1 kilo of flour per person. But for us, it was just doing everything already on the pallet. So it was super good. These are some pictures. Basically, this is a recipe of the shopping that is told as the girl that help us, and just some picture to show you how many things we were buying actually. But at this point, I understood, okay, I have to scale it, because I mean, this is not feasible that I manage everything with a Google spreadsheet, because it's like impossible to do that. Actually, I was spending every single moment in which I was not working for Sketchin in doing this. Lunch break, in the morning before starting work, in the evening, during the night. I was texting people at 3 a.m. Saying, hey, I met you with somebody else at 3 a.m. And luckily, I know a few people, and specifically these two guys are two guys that lives in Madrid, are friend of mine. We were living together in Germany. We were working together also in Germany, and they are developers. And I contact them, say, hey guys, I need some help. And in a weekend, they built from scratch a new web platform with a database, a backend, a front end. And a colleague of mine did the visual identity. That's where all, let's say, the most common thing about designer came up. And in one weekend, we came up with a new platform that actually was scaling the service to something more reliable, with something that was also more appealing, but most of all with the feature that I needed. And that's an advice that I always give also to the client, but at that time I also gave it to myself. Build a service with only the feature that you need. So don't overthink about the service. And in this case, the only feature that I need was about having a map in which I could see the people. So in this map, you can see blue points are people that want to bring a grocery shopping to somebody else. No, actually, blue points are the one in need, and red one are the people that can bring it to somebody else. In this specific moment, I had more of people that were in need, but a map was crucial to me because I could match people easily. Before, I was actually browsing the Google spreadsheet with Google Maps open in another browser, and I was placing every address inside Google Maps. Was taking me like half an hour to match somebody, and in this case, it was super easy. And also, the other feature that I needed was somehow be able to cut out people that was not from Nolo, because actually I had people answering from Rome, from other part of Italy, but was not the point of the service. So we managed with the zip code to just answer only to people from that specific area. I don't want to make it too long, but I can actually tell you some funny facts about this. At some point, I got an email from Beppe Sala. It's the mayor of Milan. I mean, Milan is not a metropolis like New York, but it's still a 3 million people city. So at some point, we got me and my friend that was doing this. We got an email from the mayor. And it was not like an automatic reply, stuff like that. It was really him just congratulating for the service that we did. And I mean, I have this printed out and on my wall because it's like life achievement for me. Then Satispay, it's a money transfer service that it's really well known in Italy. At some point, they locked my account because they thought I was doing scam about COVID, because they saw something like 15,000 euro going through my account. But thanks God, I mean, it's 2020, we're 2020. So I went on LinkedIn and I contacted the marketing manager of Italy, and I explained everything. I was super worried that I was going to some newspaper saying, hey, I'm doing something good, and Satispay locked my account. That like in half an hour, they unlocked everything, and they also write me sorry about this. I matched people that actually were living in the same building. So I remember some matches about one of them was one girl that wanted to bring a grocery shopping to somebody else, and there was this guy that has the same address, and so I gave her the number and the name, and she wrote me, yeah, but I know him, is the guy on the second floor. I live on the third floor. Actually, I had no idea that it was like in need for food. So of course, I'm gonna take care of him. So this is another relationship that basically started out of this. And then there was a people commitment that was super high. Those one are just some picture that I got from people doing the grocery shopping, and I have hundreds of it. Actually, it started some kind of a sort of a challenge, because people were posting in the in the Facebook group about this. I mean, I bet that if TikTok was super good also in that period, we would have break everything, because it was a sort of a challenge that now you can see on TikTok. And then we stopped actually after the lockdown, we stopped this service. So basically we stopped in May, because when the lockdown ended, I thought, okay, I cannot go with this, because that's not my job, and I have no more time doing that. I mean, was 3 months that were 4 months that was 4 of the most stressful months in my life. But then at some point, Politecnico di Milano is the university in Milan. Actually, it's the university that I attended. I graduated in design at Polytechnic. Actually, they contact me with a professor, service design professor, Davide Fassi, contact me and say, hey, we have this place called Campus of Polini Campus Nolo in your neighborhood. It's a place in which we do service design, projects that are really close to the people, and we'd like to take over your stuff if you don't want to do it anymore. And actually, they took it over from then. We structured a different service because they are inside the local market. So we introduce a fifth actor, actually a fifth player in the service, that are the people that have a shop in the local market. So they provide the food that we distribute to 20 families per week. So the service changed a little bit, but they took it over, and actually so far more than 2,000 families receive at least one grocery shopping by this service, and we raised, I would say, between 50 and 70k euro since the starting of this. I also faced some problems that I can just tell you here. So imagine 25,000 euro via your private bank or your private CCP account is not really easy at all. I mean, my taxes guy that helped me with the taxes was like frightening. Was like, no, you cannot just do everything by your account. Then GDPR was definitely not taking account. There was no privacy policy, nothing about this. That's why I never let any other association or NGOs helping me, because actually I could not let them see that database, because for them that was gold. But there was no privacy policy, no GDPR, anything. I also had to face people that was just they wanted just to trick the system and get free food, but you could see them, because actually there were when there were like, I don't know, 5 people signing with the same surname from the same address. Of course, they were the same family that was trying to get more than one grocery shopping. And the fourth problem is that you cannot you can really do this if it's not your whole life. I mean, if it's not your job, that's super difficult to do this as a side job, because as I said, every moment you wait, it's just a moment in which people are not getting that. And but I also learned something, and actually it's something that every designer should keep in mind. Actually, when I was preparing this presentation, Altas asked me, can you also integrate something that you look into a UX designer as a freelance when you look for them in Sketchin? And actually, these one are also some of the things that I actually look for in a designer. So the first of all is trust the process. So as a designer, we push our client to use an agile incremental approach. Actually, I know even before, but now I really know that it works. So every designer, in my opinion, should use this kind of approach. So never go for the big release with a lot of features that nobody ever will use. Always do your researches. Always trust the insight that you get out of the research and stuff like that. So trust the process that we try to build into the service, and trust the process that we use to build the service. Actually, I mean, this is not for doing promotion, but that's exactly what we do in the tech course, in the fundamentals. So we try to structure everything you saw now. So the research, testing the idea, doing a prototype, testing out, see if it's working, then improve it, and then release it. Second insight is that users are people. So as a designer, we always do a lot of things about users. So we do empathy map, user personas, extreme personas, researches, and everything. But in the end, sometimes we forget that they are real people. So they have real problems. They cannot, in this case, they cannot afford to have a dinner. So we should always remember that in the end, they are people with real problems. Something else that I understood is like keep it simple. This is also something I always tell to the clients, but keeping it simple, it's something that I would say it's the number one rule in creating a service, because if the idea is good, user will engage with it. When I launched the service, there were no cool logo, no corporate identity, no colors, nothing, just a Google form, and it worked out. People love to get involved. So if you design a service that will involve people and will let people do something in your service, they will like, and they will love to put their hands on something. So cutting the middleman, it's always good. And last but not least, I understood that as a designer, we can have an impact. Actually, as a designer, we are the ones that in the whole process of designing something or shipping something, we are the one that can have an impact, because we design how people can interact with an interface, with service. We can shape the reality of people way more than other players. I mean, everybody is important in shipping a new service, in designing something new, but as a designer, we are the one that can actually change the life of people. So this is something that this project just helped me to remind that, so we can have an impact. Yeah, so thank you. That actually was my last learn about this, and I will leave the word to Olta actually.
So thank you, Alberto, very much. I want to say that it was amazing to hear this story. It was an amazing thing that you did with all the service that you provided to people in need. I think such small gestures can actually have a great impact in people's lives. So congrats to you. So UX design courses at Talent Garden. As Alberto mentioned before, he teaches in our UX design fundamentals online course. It's a part-time course designed mostly for people that are working, so it's work-friendly, part-time, twice per week. And we also have a UX design full-time bootcamp if you'd like to switch career and start something new. We are located in Vienna, and this bootcamp is on campus. So this is it shortly. Of course, you can go to our website for more. I will be your main contact person if you'd like to enroll in one of our courses. I will stop sharing Alberto's screen. I have a few questions for Alberto. If you guys also have, you can put it down in the comments section. First, regarding the service that you created, was anyone actually offering like tasks or small jobs to people? Because I know that people sometimes need food or money because they have needs, but some of them maybe were looking for a small job to do and to actually earn that money. Was it the case sometimes?
So yeah, that's a good question, because actually many of the people that were like just basically answering to the form, to the Google form before, and then to the platform that we built, they were sharing like, okay, I lost my job. I also look for that. But what we really thought was, okay, let's keep it simple, as I said. So we cannot fix every problem that we face. We cannot even fix it for everybody. So we decided, I decided, okay, let's focus on a small area of Milan and on one single problem, that is just food. Because actually it's always super easy to then thinking, okay, but I mean, I had a lot of people answering, then why don't fix also job problem? So helping them in doing that, and then also in doing this and that. But in the end, the more thing you try to attach to one simple service, the more it will be difficult to just actually build it. So I just decided, okay, no, let's just keep it simple. We just do that, and let's hope that the connection that we are creating will solve also other kind of problem.
Okay, so I have a few questions that I put down here, but these are questions that I usually have from people that are interested in our courses. So they are very curious about stuff, of course, and especially when it comes to the portfolio. One of the main doubts that they have, especially people that don't have a background in design. So they don't have a graphic design portfolio and they are starting from nothing basically. And at the end of the full-time bootcamp, for example, they already have two projects in the portfolio, a group project, a personal project, but it's still two. And they always ask me what to do and how impactful can a portfolio be with just two projects, and what it is like, how helpful could it be for them to have voluntary work there or fictional projects just to show their abilities. Is that helpful for a designer to have fictional projects?
So, I mean, that's a good question. Actually, it's a question that many times I stumble on this question by people that takes the courses. And so my personal opinion is that you can, I mean, it's better to have few projects, but really good explained in your portfolio than having many projects, but just with screenshots. So what I really look for when I also do when I also review, for example, people that are applying to Sketchin, is not if they have 1 million of projects, but the few that they have, how they explain the project. Because actually, as I mean, as you just saw in this speech, is more the approach and the process that you apply to get to the result than the results. I mean, for me, in the end, the results was just a web page with a cool logo. That's it. But the project was not that one, but was everything that was before. So I would say, okay, first of all, explain really in depth how you carry out those two projects, and then another tips that I give is, like, instead of doing fictional project, that it's super good, but I mean, instead of doing that, maybe try to reach out some NGOs, some association, local association that probably they definitely need your help, need the help of a designer, of somebody that help them to design a new service, a new platform, a new logo, and anything, and just do that for free for them, because I mean, they will be happy of doing that. You will get experience, and you will have something to show. And won't be fictional. I mean, so you will face real problem in doing that, even if it's pro bono. No, I mean, you will face problem as, okay, how can I make these two players in contact to carry out the service, and all this kind of stuff. So I personally always value very well, let's say, pro bono or NGO or side project than fictional ones.
All right. Thank you. And another one is creativity and analytical side. So very often I have people coming to me saying, I'm very creative, is UX design for me? Or maybe I'm very analytical, is UX design for me? And usually what I say, but I'm not an expert, as you know, is that you actually need both. But what is the ratio, according to you as a professional, creativity, analytical, what would make a UX designer?
So, I mean, as you said, it's a balance. So, I mean, we are designers. We are not artists. That's the main difference. Now, I mean, an artist starts from a blank page, and they do everything they want to, because it's an artist. I mean, we never start from a blank page. I mean, as you said in my speech, I mean, you start from insights, from research, from testing. So I would say that there is quite a lot of analytic stuff in that. I mean, you need to be able to test your idea, to read the numbers, to understand what's going on, to analyze trends. And then, of course, you need also the other part of creativity. I mean, you need to be able to structure a service and think out of the box, more than just, let's say, visual skills. Now, I mean, visual skills are one of the part of the designer, but I would say it's like one, I would not say small part, but is not like everything. I mean, you need to have also visual skills, because of course you need to be able to visualize what you want to achieve. So of course you need to have that, but to visualize something, you also need to have also everything about the background on how to get to to that thing to visualize. So I would say, honestly, 50% of analytic and then 50% of creativity that is not just being able in visualize things, but creativity is also thinking out of the box, try to get new way to test your ideas, to get new insight and stuff like that.
Well, I'm actually glad that my answer is usually like this one, so I haven't been lying to my candidates. And one final question from me, and then we can close it since we don't have questions in the chat, is what platform would you suggest for people that are looking for side projects? Some of them, they really don't know where to start and they want to do small stuff. Is there any platform where you can actually find projects?
Not really. So, I mean, there is no one platform in which you can just go there and find some stuff. What I always recommend people is like start local. I mean, as a young people and designer, we are like overwhelmed by, you can pick up your phone and reach, I don't know, the other side of the world, but it's way easier to start local and to see in your area what's going on. I mean, maybe you don't know, but there are a lot of needs that are just outside of your door, and it's way easier to just do research, to intercept the need and to test it out if it's just, close to you, than doing something for some community on the other side of the world that would be super difficult. So my suggestion in this case is just go internet and find association, local association that are the ones that knows what's going on in your territory, or universities. So if you have a university that is close to you, probably they will have some kind of office that analyze this kind of stuff. So instead of just looking for a platform that has just listed all the side projects.
Understand. So we actually have one question, if you don't mind, from Mattia.
Yeah.
He says, beautiful initiative, Alberto. Congratulations. Thank you. I'll thank him for you. Based on your experience, I would like to know what are, in your opinion, those criteria that make an MVP successful like yours was.
So that's a really good question. So this is something, usually if you do that from a, let's say, professional point of view, so not like as a side project, usually you define which are the KPI, the criteria that will make your MVP successful. So you decide upfront saying, my idea will be validated if we get more than 100 answers or stuff like that. So usually it's something that you think before launching an MVP and before testing your ideas. So depending on what you want to achieve, you have to think about many KPIs or many criteria that you want to match. So in my case, could have been like, I don't know, how many people will answer it and how many people I will have that they look for food. After my first Facebook post, actually, my criteria was just a gut feeling. So I saw some people answering to my post, praising for that. So it was more a gut feeling, because actually it was a side project. So I could afford I could take the risk of doing something that was actually not working, because it was not a project, was not a paid project. So that was my criteria. So always listen your gut feeling, because it's something that you understand. But if it's something like for a client, set up the criteria before you launch the MVP and make it clear to the client, like, we're gonna validate this if this happened or this happened. So not after it.
Okay, thank you, Alberto, for answering our questions. Thank you for Mattia for the question. You will all receive this recording, so you have it for future references. You never know. Thank you, Alberto, for your presentation and sharing your experience with us. I guess we can go now. Maybe we will see each other in another event in the future. Meanwhile, have a really nice evening, you all, and we will see each other soon.
Thank you very much.
Nice one.
Bye.
Bye.